oftentimes we are still bogged down about like prior failures or looking at life that, hey, I didn't achieve these goals in the past year. And it's that mentality that prevents us from attaining whatever it is that we would like to attain. Welcome to the AlignUs Mastermind podcast, where today we're going to be talking about goals and how to goal set. I'm your host, Nikhil Sharma, Dr. Nikhil Sharma, and today we have joining with us Kevin Drummond, who is a master business development manager, master growth developer, and just all around great human. And we also have with us Krystina Seferati, who is a master content creator and super mom. And we are we're excited to have everybody with us today, and looking forward to talking a little bit about goals.
Yes, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Goal setting is very important in getting from point A to point B. You have to have a plan on where you're going. And goals are like the staircase to that.
That's right. So, have you guys set your 2024 goals?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
They're ambitious. I will say that. They're quite ambitious.
Well, that's okay. I feel like, a lot for many years, I used to struggle with setting goals. That was the whole thing, was that I would set very, I would say, ambitious goals that I would maybe write 10 of them at the beginning of the year. My dad had, put me into a habit of doing goals. And the one thing I did appreciate about him was that he would make me write those goals down, because I feel like, when we have these goals, it's not enough to just have that in your head. There is a power to actually writing them down and that resonating with you. And so I remember getting that part of the goal setting right. But the problem I went through for many years was having too ambitious of goals, So I feel like, that's something that needs to be worked on, and I have worked on.
Yeah. Last year I had very good yearly goals, but I forgot to take the point where you break them down and you give yourself like things to do during the year. So in January, I was like, sure, in a year I can achieve these things, but I didn't tell myself how or what I was going to do. And so very little of that ended up getting fulfilled. And so I look at 2023 as very foundational for me, as it built the blocks for me to now build upon. But when 2024 just started, I looked at it as, what can I do in the first 30 days to help me get there? So I learned a lot, because I had unattainable goals because I didn't tell myself how to get there. I had no plan. I just knew where I wanted to be, but I didn't know how. So this year I'm hoping to actually have action steps. It's going to help me significantly. I mean, I'm already off to a really great start.
That's good. No. There's a lot that has to go with goals. You're right. And like, it's not, it's, writing them down, but then yes, breaking that goal down into numerous actionable steps that you can take to accomplish those goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys hit the nail right on the head. I think those are two things that I struggled with in the past as well, is both not writing things down. I'm a thinker, and sometimes I would create these plans or goals in my head, but never write them down. And it's been scientifically proven that neurologically, when you write things down, they get inscripted into your subconscious mind. So it's very, very crucial for you to write things down. And then when you create those action steps, you're also creating a vision for what your future is going to look like as you're carrying these steps out. So more than anything, painting the vision comes to pass when you're writing those steps out, because now you're visualizing, oh, as I'm doing these steps, you're seeing yourself doing these steps, and your mind doesn't know the difference between what has happened and what hasn't when you're visualizing something. If you think about it, if you think about, oh, what did I do last week? You're visualizing it. If you're thinking about what you're trying to do next week, you're visualizing it. Your mind doesn't know the difference. So those are some things that I learned, and it's definitely changed my life tremendously. Just being able to pair those two things that you talked about, both Nick and Krystina, just being able to both write them down, as well as creating those actionable steps.
I think visualization has been huge for me over, I mean, I actually wasn't huge into that, manifesting, visualizing, and that's been newer for me. So maybe in the last 6 months or so,
Okay.
I've really taken that into practice in my life. But just having that, I mean, I don't think a lot of people think about what their dream situation is, or what their goals being attained would actually look like. But if you think about it, they're probably thinking about things that have happened in the past. Like
Yeah.
holding on to like negative or bad is kind of putting that to fruition again,
Yeah.
instead of I want better, I want more, I want to achieve these things. So I think visualization, manifesting, goal setting, it kind of all ties in into one for me. It's like one thing that you
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
to get to where you want to be.
Krystina, you're dropping bombs today, like beautiful
Sorry.
gems. I love that. No, what you said right there when you're saying that people often are looking to the past, and that prevents them from fully being in the present and then being able to attain those goals. It really struck a chord with me. Oftentimes we are still bogged down about like prior failures or looking at life that, hey, I didn't achieve these goals in the past year. So what makes it that I'm going to be able to achieve those goals this year? And it's that mentality, and it's that, staying in the past or shame and whatever self-sabotage really that we do to
Yeah.
ourselves that prevents us from attaining whatever it is that we would like to attain. And so I would suggest that people who are starting off this new year, like, let's be in this year. Let's be in
Yeah.
2024, right? Like, let's not like worry about what has been done in the past, because we can't change that anymore, right? We can't go back and wish that things would have worked out certain ways, or how I acted in a certain situation led me to have poor results. What's done is done, and it's important to not future trip and worry too much about, like, hey, like, how am I really going to become the successful entrepreneur that I really want to become? It's going to require me to get this and this kind of funding, and then I'm going to need a building, and this, all these things can start running amok in your brain, and then that can cause you to shut down and get real scared, and really try to attain that goal that you're trying to pursue. So I think the first step for me was to just have, just be present, and be in the moment and practice mindful techniques that has aligned me to be here. And that is like powerful.
Very powerful. And I'm not sure who first said this, but the present is a gift, and we should be grateful for it. And sometimes we get so caught up with the future, or get so caught up with the past, that we're not fully here. And energy flows where your focus goes. So when you're putting your focus on the past, you're reliving the past, you're reliving the mistakes, you're emotionally putting yourself there, you're emotionalizing those thoughts. So being present in the present, and appreciating it and being grateful for it, and then connecting it to the different things that are possible, that's truly powerful. And it's definitely a gift and presence. I think I just made that connection, the fact that present is a synonym for gift. But yeah,
Don't
all
you
about
love
that
that when
present.
you say it out loud?
Yeah.
It is cool. It's cool. Yeah, well, and so one of the magical things I feel like I learned this past year, part of that in terms of goal setting has been visualization, but there's a whole technique, and I've really gotten into like the law of attraction. And part of the law of attraction, for those that don't understand how it works, it's all about manifestation, right? But it's about, hey, like setting a goal for your future, right? And so, I did this whole little, a goal setting, and I've
That
chosen
laminated?
it. Yeah, it's laminated, and this thing is,
Man, that's next
yo,
level.
it
I
is. You
love it.
Love it.
gotta, I mean, I take this goal setting thing really seriously. It's very important, and you have to. What I've learned and what's been kind of taught to me is that you should select different fields, or different
Mhm.
parts of your life that bring you energy. So for me, I made sure to set a health goal, a relationship goal, a money/work goal, and a spirituality goal. Because each one of those parts of our life is needed, and we need all of it to kind of try to, in order to try to get it to work together. We need to focus on each part of it, because that's the thing. It's about balance, and it's about identifying it, having it be right in front of you, right? So I take the time and, created these goals based on different aspects of my life that I want to see improved, right? And so when I wrote those down, like for example, I chose my spirituality goal in 2024 to be able to meditate for 20 minutes every day. And it's important to not just write that, but then to visualize what that is going to feel like and when you're going to do that. It's about describing that goal and how it's going to make you feel, right? Like, by doing. So for me, it's the reason that meditation, that it would be important for me, is that meditation brings me clarity and calmness. My mind tends to be scattered at times, and that meditation allows me to be centered. It allows me to have the strength to be better control of my emotions, especially when adversity hits. It also gives me tremendous amount of energy each time I work on my breath techniques, right? So, when I'm writing stuff like that down, you can tell that there's a little more significance for me, as I tend to have a mind that can be all over the place. So knowing that, hey, my meditation will help better center me, better help me build a mental fortitude to be able to attack daily life, that's going to weigh in a positive way for me. And then the one other thing to associate with these goals, especially if you're doing into the law of attraction, is setting an affirmation with it, right? And so, my daily meditation practice allows me to be centered, energized, and in control of my thoughts, emotions, and actions. This provides me sustained emotional fulfillment and peace, which translate to me accomplishing all of my dreams. And so I have these goals that are set and these affirmations that are set in different parts of my condo. One's like in the bathroom, one's in like right when I wake up next to me on my desk, and I read them out loud every single day, and it's crazy. Like, what I did that for 2023, how far I've come in, accomplishing a lot of those goals. And it doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily accomplish each one of these goals at the end of the year, but it is truly tremendous how far I've come in each one of those parts of my life. And I attribute a lot of that to the way that I've set these goals up for myself.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you were talking about Krystina dropping gems. You just dropped like at least
I
6 or
know.
7 of them, like back to back to back to back to back to back. I mean, that was great, and the fact that you had affirmations tied with each of your goals, which is great, and the fact that you had a significance behind each goal as to why do you desire that goal and what is that goal going to do for you. And then most importantly, visualizing it, like you said, and feeling what hitting that goal would feel like and what it would do for you, what it would do for your purpose. Because at the end of the day, our goals should be tied to our purpose. Like, why are we here? So that was amazing. Those are gems. Maybe we need to call this show
Absolutely.
Gems.
The gem show. Yeah, bro.
The Gem Show.
I love that. I think a big part of goal setting for me too this year was making sure that I don't forget about them. So in the past, I don't know if I had like the best example of how to achieve bigger things in my life. So I've done a lot of my own research and work and figuring it out. So it's been stumble, fall, figure it out myself. But I loved seeing a lot this year on don't forget what your goals are. Give yourself these visualizations around. So like you did, I mean, printing them out, laminating it, posting it up somewhere. And then people have like that huge calendar. I mean, I think that's so great to keep you on track because there's so many times like end of January, we don't even know what our goals were. And then you just go on with your life. And that's okay for some people, but maybe you want to achieve more. Maybe you kind of want to get to a place where you can give back or just leave a lasting imprint in some way that makes it different than just going on with your mundane life. And I think it's important not to forget what you set out to do. So having a daily reminder, daily affirmations, the visualization, I mean, those are so important. I mean, I have to remind myself, why am I doing this? Or else it doesn't matter. If there's no reason, why bother?
Yeah.
No, 100%. And I
Oh,
agree with you. It's in terms of making sure you're reminding yourself, whether that's, in your phone, setting daily reminders, having them in
yeah,
front of you when you're walking around. Like I need that. You're right, because life gets busy and then you just get
it
caught
does.
up on, something that, whether it's a personal matter or it's something that's not goal related, but it's, let's say it has to do with finances and it just takes up a lot of your brain space. You tend to forget, like, hey, my other goal it was to make sure I go to the gym like every day or for 5 days a week, and that can, goes out the door just a lot of times at the end of
It
January or
does.
February. But setting goals is a multifaceted approach. It's not just writing it down. It's figuring out ways that it sticks in your brain and you're reminded of those goals at all times. And like Kevin said, your goals, or at least one of your goals, should be tied to a higher purpose for you, because it's what makes your soul sing, right? Like you need to be able to have like that type of approach that, hey, if by me accomplishing this goal, it's gonna make me feel like I've accomplished everything I've ever set out in this world to be able to accomplish, and whatever that goal is, right? That feeling that you're gonna get, visualizing your parents, your loved ones, all of them around you, like rooting you on, like cheering for
Yeah.
you because you did it. That gives you goosebumps just thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's important for you to be that. The more detailed you are, the more likely you are to achieve that goal.
Yeah, and you
I
just
love
you
that.
made a nice point too. As far as the emotionalizing, emotionalizing is so important because emotions, when it comes to law of attraction, that's what truly attracts situations. That's what magnetizes opportunities to you by emotionalizing the things that you're desiring. And you also said an important point as far as reminders. So I think in 2024, we're in the digital age. We always have our phones on us. If you're always going to have your phone on you, use it to your advantage. So one thing that I've done, and you said it as well, is setting alarms on your phone. So every couple of hours, put an affirmation in your phone and have it remind you. And on top of that, put in parentheses how many times you should repeat it, like repeat this 3 times or repeat this 5 times. Those things help because there's a compounded effect. Because if you're doing it every 2 hours and you're up for at least 10 hours, that's 5 times in a day. If you have it 5 times being repeated, that's 25 times per day. So across a week, that's 125 times that you've actually said this affirmation, which is incredible.
It is. If I could give anyone like just starting, so if maybe someone who isn't super familiar with goal setting or a lot of the terms that we're using, and they want to get into um, it can be really weird at first, and it can
Yes.
feel like this is crazy. Like I am being so insane. It feels that way until it doesn't. And that is what makes it so amazing because you give yourself these affirmations that say like I am powerful and confident and whatever it may be, whatever aspect of your life that you're working on. But it feels cringe at first because you don't believe it. But eventually, as you keep going, it doesn't take too long, but it starts to feel real. And then, like the projection outwardly that you can start to give to the rest of the world, it's so worth it. It's amazing. So I really hope more people can start to just get past that cringe and
Yeah.
just get
No,
started.
I agree with you on that cringe part. Like I felt like, what is this? What are these
Yes.
affirmations? Why do we need this? Like, who actually does this? That's what I was just
Mm-hmm.
always confused about it. And then, I was like, I think it comes to a point in your life where you realize that there needs to be a change about what you're doing, and how you're approaching life. Because I feel like one of the goals at least for me in my life, is to how to self-actualize to my highest potential, and part of doing that is obviously doing some of that inner work, and that usually happens when something traumatic occurs in your life and you feel like you need to try a different approach. So that what all that happened to me that led me to this, was like, all right, I'm gonna try giving this a chance, this whole, goal setting, this affirmations, and man, after I don't know, 2 or 3 months into it, I literally could feel the energy. It's like there's like a magnetism that starts coming with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I started slowly believing in it more and more. And I just realize, hey, things are happening now in a 3-month period, more now in these 3 months than I could accomplish all in last year. So yes, there is a major power to this. And the other part of this, goal setting, manifestation, we can kind of clump them together, is that once you decide that, hey, this is what my goal is, or this is what I'd like to manifest in this year, you kind of detach from the outcome of that occurring. Don't necessarily think that that goal that you're setting in 2024 is going to happen in 2024. What you need to do is be like, yes, in 2024, this is my goal. So it's as if you're starting new and you're starting fresh in that time period. And you're writing everything down, you're visualizing, your whole mindset is changing. You're literally becoming a new human being when you're, using this approach. And then detach from an outcome of when it's going to happen. Allow your subconscious to start doing its thing, and then get into the energy of being grateful for all the things that you do have in your life. Because when you start becoming grateful, and you literally start magnetizing resources to come to you. Because I got into this energy of like, hey, you know what? I'm going to create this app that's going to make it fun, easy, and rewarding for everyone to donate. Once I got my mindset and that was my goal, I was like, okay, I don't know when this is going to be able to launch. I don't know when this is going to happen, but you know what? I'm so grateful and I'm so passionate. And then what that started to do was starting to attract other people into my life that were helping create this goal or make this goal to come into reality. And it's all because I'm just grateful for being who I am, where I'm at in life, and that brings in your tribe, and it's truly magical. I want to say it's literally magical.
It is.
I love that word too. It's crazy that sometimes the biggest maybe trauma or hurdles of our life can put us on this path of, let's try something new. I'm open. I want a different outcome. And it just gives you that power, the strength, and kind of the drive to shoot off in this direction. And it just becomes such a powerful path. It really does.
I think the Buddha also said that suffering comes from expectations, and so oftentimes, at least I can speak for myself, is that I wanted to either consciously or subconsciously control all outcomes, in life, whether that would be in my relationships and be it a certain way so that I can make sure I'm still thriving in the hospital, but making sure I have that emotional support, which ended up being codependency, and so what you said, Krystina, it resonates in that we have to, let go of what we think the outcome is going to be and the control about how this journey is going to go, and just go with the flow, and just get on this path. Start setting these goals. Do not worry how you're going to, when they're going to be accomplished. Just start by writing down these goals. Start by getting into a mindset of how are you going to feel if these goals are actually accomplished, and then let go of the outcome and be grateful and watch the magic happen.
Like it. Okay, I think that's a great way to end. That was amazing.
It is.
That was amazing.
All right.
Well, such good advice.
Great being with you all today, and we'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you all. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's podcast. Until next week, peace.